can do it again. Just let go.
Right here.
One day you'll see. Just let it go.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're
You
gonna
said you
gonna have to put, we don't want the copyrights to that song. Should I just say yes?
No, it's okay. We are here. We are here. Celebrating our phenomenal friend. Our sister, queen, and friend.
Yay!
Ayana.
You're an author, babe!
Oh,
How do you feel right now? A mixture of emotions at the moment, to be quite honest. But grateful for this opportunity that's coming together. I think poetry in itself is how I reveal my truest self. Is when I'm the most vulnerable. Is when I am most raw. Is how I speak to God. So nothing is by coincidence. I don't believe that. So yeah, I am honored. I am grateful. I was petrified for a couple of the days leading up to this, but now I'm resolved that whatever will be will be.
wow.
So yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome.
How did you come up with the title, Reflections of Mina?
I don't know, to be quite honest. I always said, in my mind, I wanted it to be, because it's an anthology, so it's the evolution of me, and Reflections of Mina is me looking back at my evolution in itself, and Amina is my middle name, so I had someone call me Mina before, and I was like, oh, that's cute, that's a cute little nickname. No one really calls me that, so I said Reflections of Mina would be beautiful. And when I spoke to Mom, she said, what does Mina mean? And Mina in itself means like the sea. So it has a beautiful meaning in and of itself. And it's like Reflections of the Sea. And that's so much, that's me, because water is my element. I love the sea. I'm an island baby. So yeah, it's where I am most at peace, to be quite honest. And when I'm at the sea, looking at the sunrise or the sunset is where I feel it sense God the most. It's my sacred place. So I thought Reflections of Mina was fitting, or be fitting.
Beautiful. Talk to us about this acknowledgement. This is moving.
I cried.
I cried also. I cried every time I read it. But are we gonna all have a copy? Did you see the acknowledgement? Do you have a look? Have a look. Shall I take this book then?
Yeah.
As you guys are aware, this book is dedicated to my mommy, my momzo. And of course, it had to have been her, because it was always her. So she's always encouraged me, inspired me, and taught me to dream bigger than my dreams. So the acknowledgement brings me to tears every time I read it, because I felt like I'll never be able to tell her thank you enough. But it's just my little contribution. So yeah.
Look at the picture, you guys.
So beautiful.
You look so much like her.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I get older, I'm looking more and more like her.
Especially when you wear that puff, girl.
Favorite poem?
Oh, I don't have a favorite one, to be quite honest. Like I was saying earlier, I felt like each poem was written in its most authentic and truest form at that particular moment in time. So each one of them brings a different emotion out of me, do you know what I mean? But if I had to choose one in this anthology, I like Phoenix Rebirth.
Yes.
So yeah, I would say that one is really good.
Talk to us about that. Where did
Yeah.
you Come on, give us more.
Okay,
What's it about?
Could you read it for us? Shall we start there?
Ooh, yes. Sips wine.
So actually, Phoenix Rebirth, when I was compiling the poems that I wanted to put into this book, I actually rewrote Phoenix completely. There was a Phoenix one already, just like Foreplay was already.
Oh, I was gonna go there. I was like, what happened to 1.0?
Did we miss something?
done editing, let me digress for a bit. Because it's an anthology and it's because of the evolution of Mina, some of these writings are very young. They're my earliest form of thought and expression, like teens coming into womanhood, innocence, before chariots popped, like real innocent, to now where I am and becoming in the evolutionary process. And I fought really hard not to rewrite some of the earlier poems because I felt, oh, that style was, oh, that's rudimentary, or that's not artistic or stylistic or linguistic enough.
Come on.
But I wanted to be true to who I was at that particular moment in time. And I think as you go along and you continue reading, you see the different styles of writing and the different thoughts. And you can see the evolution of my thought process. And I keep telling myself it's not about perfection, but progression. And in the next 5-10 years from now, my writing style will be yet again different because I would have learned more, I would have experienced more. So I'm just like, I am proud of this because I was true. I didn't alter the earlier poems, and any poem that it's a reflection, and any poem that by the time it was done with editing, it was a whole new poem in and of itself. So I didn't pass it off as the original thought process. So Phoenix Rebirth was inspired from the original Phoenix. So it just speaks about the time where, you struggle with pain and loss and despair, and how do you reconcile that? How do you find your way again? And I like the mythical animal of the phoenix because, out of the ashes, the phoenix rises.
You've used the phoenix a couple of times, actually.
It's my favorite mythical animal, I think. Like some people like unicorn. I don't have time for that. The phoenix is like, I feel like I am a phoenix because it's just like, the phoenix is never destroyed. Do you know what I mean? It always finds a way to come back better, stronger than it was before. So
Beautiful.
The Phoenix Rebirth is one of my favorites.
Are we gonna hear it?
Yeah, why not?
Shall I change the song?
You can, or we can keep it. What do you guys think? Your call.
You just turn it down, touch me. Yeah.
Okay, so the Phoenix Rebirth. Oh, when will she return? How long will the phoenix be held captive? She lays desolate, drowning in sorrows and regrets, her wings restricted, broken, weighted down by promises unkept, lies told, and hurts that are yet to be. She becomes disillusioned, complicit, and timid. She no longer remembers her days of glory, valor, and honor, nor can she relate to them. Those days are just fading, distant memories of a person I used to know, raped of her virtue, stripped of her pride. Oh, when will the phoenix arise? Her vague reflection stands emotionless in the mirror, broken spirit, disconnected from her God, her love, her king. Alone with her thoughts, anxiety, and sorrow, she grows weary of their presence. So she decides to set fire to her tears and allows the fire to consume her. Baptism by fire. New birth unfold. She is no longer suffocated by the flames. Her true spirit restored. Oh wow, the phoenix has returned. Wow. Thank you.
Set fire to her tears,
I like that line.
Are we able to ask anything about...
Yes, you may.
When did you write it? Let's start there.
Phoenix Rebirth was written during the collection or the compilation of the book, so it was quite recent. Like Good Bodies Lay Waste was quite recent as well.
We'll get to that one. Is there anything that you can tell us about what inspired it? What is the time in your life that you are talking about?
I think I've been there many times.
Ooh.
So I feel like it's just the highs and lows of life, and it's just finding that emphasis, or like what je ne sais quoi, that something that makes you get up and fight another day. Do you know what I mean? It's like you battle a lot. I think life has a way of weighing you down and wearing you down. So I think the Phoenix Rebirth is my way of saying, no matter what happens, you will overcome. You've always overcome. You know, you're an overcomer. So yeah,
I feel like we saw that in you. And I remember after you'd moved into your house.
in
I can't
Wales.
remember.
Which one?
Yeah, we were video calling one night, and like this whole bit about like disconnect. Her vague reflection stands emotionless in the mirror, broken spirit, disconnected from her God, her love, her King. Like I feel like we saw that in you, and that was maybe like even a year ago or something.
I think it was very real as well, because again, that was an older poem revamped or became something new and something beautiful, but it like the issues are still recurrent for me to some extent. It's like my constant quest of searching for God, searching for identity, searching for love, and how like that juxtaposition of freedom versus marriage is like it weighs heavy on me. So I feel like it will always come up until it's resolved, until I'm at peace with it. So yeah, so that would be very true that you saw that represented like a year or two ago at that particular moment in time. I was like, where's my husband?
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
How did you feel after writing it down?
Free. I always do. Like every poem I pour my heart in is authentic at that time. So it's just like no bars, no restriction. It's me. Pen to paper. So yeah.
You are very vulnerable in some of these poems. Did you guys see Circle Peg in a Square Hole? I was like, oh my gosh.
You guys, one of y'all will have to read that one. Do you want to read that one?
Oh no.
Which one is that one?
Circle Peg in a Square Hole is the one just before the last. If you go out here. Yeah. I don't even know the page number. To be fast.
67.
See?
Excuse me. This is your poem, your anthology of poems.
Yeah, okay, but it would be nice to hear someone else read it.
Why? We haven't heard you read it.
Yeah, we want to hear you.
Oh my days, you
It's
guys!
all about you
All
today.
about you.
You guys know who this is written for?
Oh, I don't know.
Give it time. You'll figure it out. You'll join up them dots.
And if you don't, whisper.
Circle Peg in a Square Hole. Now there was you, and though I loved you, I always felt like a circle peg trying to fit into a square hole. We worked for a time, but as I grew, my wants and desires also grew. We began to rub shoulders, and that space that once housed the circle peg became uncomfortable. I was about establishing a dynasty, a legacy that would transcend generations. The work was great, the time limited. I heard the ancestors, the calling was great. But you didn't see the vision, didn't have the passion, didn't care for the adventure, and lacked the sense of urgency. I wanted to fly while you wanted to crawl. I wanted to dance while you stood rhythmless on the side. As the beating of the drums drew me closer to my divinity, I was one with every beat. The earth pulsated beneath me, the sky glowed above. I was connected with the sky and the earth, water and fire, past and present, life and death, all by the beating of the drums. You couldn't hear it. You didn't feel the longing to return. I wanted to return to Africa, to the beginning and the end of nirvana, enlightenment, where my body, spirit, and mind met. I wanted to live unashamed, unrestricted, set free. But you chose to merely exist in the shadows of those who came immediately before you. Spontaneity was not your friend. Formality and customs were your norms. Lack of communication and true intimacy were your ways. However, your gentle spirits embrace held this fierce phoenix at bay, captive, weak at the knees. So So I conform to make you happy, understanding all too well why the cage birds sang. I too long for the wind beneath my wings. My prison, self-inflicted, paralyzed by love, becoming a bit more rigid, a bit more sterile, a bit more stagnant, a bit more you. Each concession erasing a bit more of my identity. Each concession rips a bit more of my divinity, sadness, conformity, silent killer of humanity. I was never meant to be your crowning glory. I was so much more than that. I couldn't see it. You couldn't see me. See, I was always Kenduk, daughter of Oshun, free-spirited, stormy and untamed. Conformity would have never worked for me. My bloodline would not permit it. Say I was born a warrior and a princess. It's in my name, Amina. Ayana Amina, given to me by my father and his brother, whispered in my ears before I could formulate words or thoughts. I had no choice then to become the person they declared me to be. My heritage was indeed rich. The broken pieces of my past formed the beautiful mosaic that stood and stands before me. It was my teacher and friend. I am the daughter of the Kushites, the Nile, Ga, Yoruba, Igbo, Zulus, Ashanti, and much more. I am and have always been the rightful heir to ancient thrones. My royal blood comes from the north, south, east, and west. Africa was mine and I was hers. You were always a foreign entity. A circle peg should never be forced to fit into a square hole.
Yo.
I know.
That is the first time you're seeing and hearing my work, isn't it? How do you feel about that?
This was beautiful. Very powerful.
It was. I was my end, my penned end to that relationship. It was my salon.
Did the person that the poem was inspired by ever hear that?
Yeah, he bought a book.
I wonder if you'll know it was about him.
Oh yes, he would.
How does it feel that you're potentially giving someone the words that they can't say?
In what capacity?
Someone who would read that and totally identify and say, that's me. And I've never been able to say that, but that was me.
And me.
I think that's what you want as a writer. I think my uncle Lasana, one of the greatest poets I know, to be quite honest, brilliant poet, brilliant academic mind, just brilliant. He's always taught me, whenever you write, it has to be from a place of authenticness. It has to be real to you. It has to be true to you. If you try to fake it, a reader will sense it and see it and know that it's not true. But when you write from that pain or that place of utmost joy, people resonate with that. It becomes truth identifies truth. And that's all you want. You want someone to be like, yeah, I'm not alone. They get it. Someone gets it. Someone gets me. So yeah. But it always starts with you. It's your healing process. Then you just put it out. It makes me it renders me naked. I'm just vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
On the there is a... But you have been on Amazon, like literally within the first day, you were number 5 for women's poetry. Like,
I know, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Phenomenal.
I know. I couldn't even believe it. I was speaking to one of my close friends, Ian, and he was like, "Jan, you're number 5." I said, "What? No."
You're like,
I don't know. And then I called you guys. I was like, "What? This is what Ian said." And I made him double check like 6 to 10 times. He's like, "Yana, you're number 5." I was like, "What?"
Wow.
And you know that it's only by the grace of God that happened, because it was just like, what? No, I still couldn't process that.
Amazing. And now that's for women's poetry, but have you had any feedback from men?
I've had amazing feedback from men, which I was so shocked about. Like, my cousins came through, and like the men that bought the book that actually read it resonated. Some resonated with changes, and I didn't expect that. My cousin was just like, I am going to recite Black Men, the poem, like Black Men. And he's like, I'm just working up on my nerves, but I'm going to recite it, because he's like, I need to promote this book, and that's how he wants to recite it, because he resonated with that as well. And he's like, yo, circle peg in a square hole was deep. And I'm kind of like, do you know me, proper gangsters, like legit, like into it. I was like, it blew my mind to see men respond so well to the book. I was so surprised. I did not expect that at all. So it was really good.
Awesome.
Do you have any poems that you want me to read, Cam?
Let me see. Shall I? No, let me not go there.
No, we can go there. We're going to be open and transparent. Let's go there, because you guys may never hear it in my voice again.
I know. Do you know what? That is the thing, actually. Some of these poems are made to be read
By the
in
author.
Ayana's island accent.
That's true. Is there any particular one that needs to be read by you to be fully appreciated?
So long to the good old days, because I'm speaking in St. Martin vernacular there, so it's just like macajumbies and clamacherry and like.
Come on, give it to us.
Oh my days. Let me try this. Thank you very much.
Welcome,
Okay, so this is called So Long to the Good Old Days. This was inspired because I was asked to recite or create a poem for this village. It's called St. James in St. Martin. And all of a sudden, this quiet, peaceful village where my mom grew up as a child became like headquarters for criminal activities. So the community came together and wanted to do like almost like a form of protest through activism and poetry and art, to say, listen, this is not who we are, this is not what we want to do. So I wrote this poem from the perspective of an old person who have lived there all their life, telling the tale. So that's what inspired this poem in particular. Let me get into character. Okay, so long to the good old days. I could remember when I was a child and the sun used to shine and stories were told about the macajumbies that roamed in the wild imaginations of Grandpa's mind. We would all gather underneath a big old clamacherry tree where you see right over there and stay there till the dawning of the sun. That was the very same sun that met us there and left us there. And Grandma Louise would go to bed without a single worry. And she would leave the door wide open if ever we should wander in during the night stars. Laughter could have been heard throughout the town, and children would play until the dancing of the stars. No, our greatest fear at that time were only those macajumbies that ran through old Grandpa's mind. I vowed never would I leave this place of my youth, this place called St. James. But now I stand before you in the form that is old. I look around and children aren't allowed to play in the streets, and stories aren't even told anymore. And old Grandpa so-and-so is dead. Not of his old age, but because of the indecent act of crime committed against him. The doors that were once wide open are now barricaded with steel. Grandma Louise is now afraid to go to sleep, and I myself have changed. I vowed never would I leave this place of my youth. Now, in days of my age, I wish to move furthest away. A place I once loved, cherished, and admired is now the headquarters of all criminal activity. So here I say to my once so precious village called St. James, so long to the good old days.
Yes.
So just to qualify for people that don't know what a macajumbi is, it means spirit, ghost, or you know what I mean?
Duppy.
Duppy for my Jamaicans. So yeah, and the clamacherry tree is like Mama used to make. You can make glue from it. It's like almost looks like a blueberry but it's not blue. It's like a reddy color and it's sticky. So, you know, just certain things I wanted to hold true to me. Let me read intimacy, which is not, no, that's not foreplay.
I'm
Today
is I feel like
just having a drink. Don't mind me.
But it'll be interesting to read intimacy and contrast it with foreplay 2.0, because intimacy was my pre-innocent years. And foreplay 2.0 is like, I am woman, hear me roar. So there's a stark difference in the writing style and how one expresses.
So can we hear the juxtaposition?
18 and over.
Right. Yeah.
18 and over. So intimacy, I like this poem. It's cute, it's flirty, it's innocent.